YouTube, how's it going? And welcome back to AJ's Garage. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you're new to the channel, I hope you please consider subscribing. I would greatly appreciate it. Today's video is going to be a little different, not quite working on anything specific to one of the two trucks, but I guess you could say today's video is sponsored, and it is sponsored by Super Clean. So I just want to say a big thank you to the team out at Super Clean. I really appreciate it. Being a small channel, it really means a lot. Thank you to Kim and Jessica, and thank you to the rest of the Super Clean team for sending the product out. So I'm going to be testing this on quite a few different things, giving a review at the end overall and how it works for me. If some of you guys are like me, cleaning these projects or cleaning parts is one of the last things on my mind. I get involved in how I'm going to do something, what I need to get, tools, parts to complete that said project. So today we're going to focus on cleaning, so let's get started. So the first Super Clean product I'm going to be testing today is the foaming cleaner and degreaser. And first thing I noticed right off the bat is biodegradable detergents right here on the bottle. That's definitely important to me. I'm a big supporter and big believer of, for example, if you go to a national park, Yosemite National Park is about 3 hours from me, or the lake or the park in general, you go to those places to relax and enjoy the beautiful scenery. Clean up after yourself, leave it better than you found it for future generations. So that's definitely important to me. So what we're going to test this on first is these Ford truck hubcaps. Now I have 5. I actually bought all 5 for 15 bucks at a car swap meet, and these are the worst 2 out of the 5. So it says to spray it on there. Foaming formula should be able to sit and not run off too much, is one thing I like about foam. So we're going to spray these down. This one's actually pretty bad. Probably been sitting around somewhere just collecting dust and grease, and that's pretty caked on there. So we're going to soak these and then give them a clean. Already starting to dissolve some of the dirt and stuff. It's getting discolored as it settles in, so definitely already working. So make sure I get some of the really caked on areas. We'll let those sit for about 30 seconds to a minute, and then we'll see how clean we can get them. So both caps have been soaking for about a minute now, and you can definitely tell there's very little white on them. All the foam is pretty much turned brown. So let's start off with the one that had the main damage. And you can clearly see how that's just lifting any dirt and grime and getting it all off. So this outer lip here was where it was definitely really caked on. So let's see how well it does there. So now I got all 5 hubcaps cleaned up. I cleaned up the other 3 off camera, and these 2 were actually the ones that were completely coated or were coated in primer. I assumed they were in pretty rough shape, but they're actually not too bad. But now that I've got all of them cleaned up, someone took the time to kind of touch them up with paint. Not a very good job, but with this one, you can tell that the Super Clean took all that primer right off and got down to the paint. So it does say on the bottle to test a certain area to avoid any damage or discoloration, but I'm definitely happy with how clean it left all of them. These were the two that I showed you guys as far as getting clean. This one had kind of that rust coming through, but you can see how clean it is. And then this is the one that was extremely grimy and dirty, so cleaned it all off really well with really not too much effort, just letting it sit for a little bit and then scrubbing it down. So I would definitely recommend the foaming cleaner. It's going to come in handy around the garage. So the next thing I'm going to get to are the rims and tires. And to be honest with you guys, I rarely ever clean these or do anything with them when I do wash the truck. I am not a fan of this style. They're 16.5s. I do have a set of 16s that I pulled off of an 80s F250, which would just give me a lot more tire options. And they're just plain steel rims, so I'm gonna put those on eventually. But for now, this is what I'm running on the truck. So for starters, you guys can see how dirty this tire is. It's got some mud on it. It's just definitely dirty. And then as we get to the rim, you can see there's a lot of brake dust and buildup. So it definitely needs a really good clean. So I feel like this would be a good test. For starters, what we're gonna do is wet down the tire and rim. Make sure it's nice and cool and you're not in any direct sunlight. It definitely states that on the bottles, so I'm sure the sun and the heat could probably cause some damage to, depending on the surface that you're cleaning. But we're gonna start with just the regular Super Clean cleaner degreaser for the tire. So we'll spray this on there. You can already see it. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I can already see it reacting, turning everything brown. And if you guys can see this down here, all that buildup is just running off. Like I said, I rarely clean these. So now we're gonna take a bristle brush . So as that's drying, it already looks way better, so works really well on the tire. We'll move on to the rim, and for that we're going to use the wheel cleaner, and we'll just have that on. I believe it's also a foam spray. So as we spray, we'll let that sit some as well. And I'm going to take a little cloth that I have here, get it a little wet. So I'm going to spray some more in these little holes here and try to get those cleaned up. And you can see all that just coming out as it runs down the tire. After giving this a little time to dry, being completely honest with you guys, this is probably the cleanest the rims and tires have ever been on this truck since I've been driving it, and that's about 4 or 5 years now. So great product for a wheel cleaner. I would definitely recommend it. Now let's move on to the last thing, the seat. The last thing I'm going to clean up is the bench seat. I got it pulled into the garage just because it was getting quite windy outside, and of course in here I can kind of control the lighting a little better, so hopefully it shows up okay. But it's definitely got a decent stain in here, all along the back up here. I'm going to work on cleaning the top of the vinyl there, and then I've spilt some coffee on the passenger side. Of course these old trucks don't have any cup holders, so sometimes if I'm driving with my coffee, I'll spill it on the seat, and then we'll also clean up down here along the bottom. So hopefully you guys will get a good view. Now with the Super Clean, I'm just going to be using the regular cleaner degreaser. It does say for automotive upholstery and dashboards, car covers, truck bed liners to dilute it. So 1 part Super Clean to 8 parts water. So I do have it diluted already. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of wet the areas that I want to clean a little bit first, and then we'll spray some Super Clean on them and scrub them and see how they come out. So scrubbing it with water, I actually think you can definitely see the dirt and grime a lot better on this area. So we'll get some more water on there. So it's the next day. I've let the bench seat dry. I thoroughly scrubbed the top half of it last night. Cleaned the vinyl, especially down here at the bottom. Cleaned up really, really well. But I did leave this bottom section of the bench dirty. Of course, I'm gonna get to that, but I wanted to leave it as a comparison so we could do kind of like a before and after. And you can see kind of how dirty it is still. It doesn't really pick up too well with the lighting and the color of the seat, but you can see how this looks compared to this back half where that stain was kind of right here in the middle. Cleaned up really well. So it doesn't quite show up as well as I would like, but in person it's definitely a lot cleaner than it was. So I'll get to the bottom section and then I'll go back in the truck. And overall, based on my experience using it, I would definitely recommend Super Clean. It is an extremely powerful, heavy-duty cleaner degreaser that uses biodegradable detergents that aren't harmful to the environment, nor does it carry that super strong odor that most heavy-duty cleaners have. It has a wide range of uses, not just from the automotive uses that I showed you, but also around your house, indoor and outdoor. So again, I want to say thank you to the Super Clean team, and thank you guys for watching.